Ayan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right, I've just got to make sure I take my work pass off. uh, Good. So, how did you hear about the Isolation Film Festival?
I got to hear about it from Instagram.
Okay.
And yeah, so one of the people who got selected in the festival, he shared about it, and I got to know about it, and the deadline was there, and so I thought, let's apply. Yeah, it happened.
And can you tell us? Obviously, I've seen your film a couple of times or so. Can you tell me the title of your film and what it's about?
Yeah. So two of my works are there in the festival, right? Still I Dream and You. So both of them were made during the COVID lockdown last year in 2020. So at that point, like the lockdown was like a very different experience for me, although uh, like everything was well and fine fortunately, but somehow psychologically and emotionally it was a very changing experience, and that led to the birth of these two works. I used images, I didn't go for like visuals and all in that long takes and all. I just use images and sounds to collaborate them and like make audience a part of it so that they can think about the visuals more.
Absolutely, that's the beauty of experimental film. That it's up. Like I spoke to a couple of filmmakers about their experimental films recently, and that's the beauty of the medium is you can interpret, you can see different things in it. Like one of the other experimental films, it was all through a viewfinder on an old camera. So she'd filmed through a viewfinder. It looked like someone was observing the world, and it was more of a record of what they're watching. And it was really interesting. And what she originally, her intent originally, was completely different to what how I saw it. So yeah, it's an exciting to have experimental films in the festival for the first time.
And also very interesting because it somehow challenges how like the notions of filmmaking, like experimental
Absolutely,
filmmaking. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah,
like what we precisely know about filmmaking or what we study about filmmaking, it kind of challenges that, and that's why the name also experiment, so.
absolutely, yeah. So, what did you shoot? How did you? Can you tell me a little bit about the mechanics and the technical backgrounds of the two films?
Yeah, sure. About the movie, like how I made it, like the
Yeah,
technical
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in Still I Dream, so during the lockdown, I was like clicking many pictures, of my house, and like I was really feeling futile, like all these deaths and all, and like suddenly I had this thought that what if I die tomorrow? So so that was the thought always sticking in my mind, and so I delved deeper and deeper. I was reading also at that time, you know and kind of I became like I was trying to come to terms with myself emotionally. I'm very emotionally dependent on others. I was, but during this lockdown I tried to come to terms with myself, and so that led to some images. Like I was taking with my mobile phone some images, and then I kind of edited and kept it, and I thought, let's weave it together with sound. And that kind of, and I weaved it. And there's like if you see the sequence of images, it's like a question and an answer that leads to a further question. Like first it starts with death and the image of a dead lizard and a dead butterfly that's been carried by ants. And then there is like a person in a shroud shouting and then in a calm position. So like the death is asking that what you can do, and then again he's saying that I don't know what I can do. So that a question and an answer and a question, and in that format it goes. So that's
Yeah,
the thing.
I love the way you presented the film, and I understood a certain amount of that. I kind of saw that what you were saying with your film, and it's your film that has the photos of the cats on the wall. Is that right?
Yeah. It has the
Yeah,
photos of the walls.
yeah. I really enjoyed how you put the film together, and it's the kind of experimental film that I really enjoy, where you can see it on a two dimension, you can see it on a screen on the internet, and then you could also see it in how a lot of experimental films are shown in a gallery or projected onto something. I think it worked really, really well. So what did you shoot the photos on? Was it your phone or?
Yeah. So it was my phone. It was my Android phone. I was shooting on it. Like first, it was very casual. Like I was documenting my like. It came from a place that I need. It's a kind of excretion for me. Like it's within me. I need to take it out. Otherwise, I can't live in sanity. So it's
Yeah,
kind of so it's kind of excretion process, like how
yeah,
you excrete your emotions. So I think films are a great medium of excretion. Like
absolutely.
excretion
Yeah,
is we always connected. There is a like always a negative connotation with excretion, like but like just the way we excrete grief, like we cry, and that again then gives the calm, the sense of calmness. So like when we make also things, when we photograph, when we make films, after that also we feel good, like we feel okay, like I've said it.
absolutely. Like you're getting your message across, how you feel, how you're navigating the COVID situation, how you're navigating life. That form of expression is really kind of clear in your two films, and yeah, it's a good way to kind of focus your energy, focus your creativity, and it's a pleasant distraction to what's going on in the world.
Or not only a distraction also, it also makes us view reality in a different way. Like
Yeah,
I'm also viewing reality like distraction to a certain point. Yes, I am taking refuge in that photographs are in that process, like cutting off myself. But again, like how much can you cut off from the real? Like you have to come back, like you can't really escape from it. And like
yeah,
art kind of blooms in the real, I believe. Like it's my take on it, people may differ, but it kind of blooms in the real, in the chaos, the chaotic mess. And like
yeah.
I can't work in a very disciplined manner, like I don't know how it sounds, but like in a very organized and in a very process, it has to be like haphazard, it has to be chaotic. Like chaos is the thread to the invention. So that how it works.
Yeah, I absolutely totally agree with you and see that in your work. And um whereabouts are you at the moment? Are you at home or are you isolating with someone else or
Yeah. Please repeat your question.
so where are you kind of isolating at the moment? Where are you exactly?
No, in my home, only. I was in my home. Fortunately, I also got mild COVID, like so at that point I was like, this year, that was not in 2020 when I made this works, but it was this year when I was like completely isolated, like I was in a separate room in my home only, but in a separate room, like people were maintaining a certain distance and all. So yeah, but it was mild, so I kind of recovered quickly in 14 days. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I got a very bad case of it in December. So on the day I was supposed to get married on December 12th, I got COVID pneumonia and I was in hospital for 2 weeks. But it was, yeah, it's some people are getting asymptomatic where they get no symptoms, and then there's severe cases when you're on a machine that's keeping you alive. So it's great that you've recovered because it's a difficult thing to kind of get through, and you have a greater understanding of what's going on when you do get it, I think.
Yeah, like can you come close to the mic actually? So
Yeah, can you
the
hear
voice
me
is
now?
not. Yeah. It's the
So yeah,
network.
I got a bad case of it, and it took a very long time to recover. So yeah, it's good that you've recovered and you get a greater understanding, don't you, of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, true. Very true. So I was also hearing in one of your podcasts also, like in the interviews that you were doing, that you really had a bad case of COVID. So I hope you're fine now.
Yeah, thankfully 100% recovered, and I feel very lucky, very, very lucky. So is cinema or filmmaking been a passion of yours for a long time, or
It was like from class 9, when I was in class 9, okay, during my
so
school days.
what age is that?
Um, it's kind of like 56, 17, 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah, that it was that kind of age. So like I guess it was in class 10 or 11, like 15, 16 age. It was at that period of time, So I was kind of this. I was not really into films, Like I used to think about stories. Like I used to gather my friends and used to tell them, like, "Hey, I have a story to tell." Sometimes they used to laugh. Sometimes they used to say, "Yeah, that's great." Sometimes they used to say, "Not good." Okay, and so this kind of culture was there amongst our friends. And later, I kind of delved into like first, like the passion, like I have to make something that came from when I watched, Chaplin movies.
Yeah.
Like I watched it earlier also during my childhood when I was like small child, and it was only for the laughs and all. But later I kind of realized at that age that what he was trying to say. Now also, like if you also watch them now also, layers and layers of meanings. It's not only about laughter, not only about tears, but it's very much between them.
Yeah,
It's not about
he's a genius, a brilliant filmmaker.
totally, like my favorite always. So I was very much like impressed by Limelight. I really like that movie. Limelight, I really like, and City Lights, especially
Yeah.
that ending scene in City Lights. Like, that's fab scene. Like whenever I am down or whenever I really go back to that scene. It's like, great.
I was going to ask you, what's your kind of go-to? What kind of films do you like to watch? Do you like genre films as well? And do you have a few films that you can watch more than once?
All kinds of movies. Like I don't I kind of get a bit of all kinds of movies, but horror I don't easily go into it because there are several reasons for it. One is that I like watching horror. Like if you say, like if you watch the movies of Ari Aster, like Hereditary and Midsommar, like the great movies, like how it deals with
yeah.
Yeah, it's great, but first of all, like whenever I see so I kind of like think about it, and like I kind of go deep into that, and those thoughts kind of I get scared by my thoughts. I don't know if I'm making sense or not.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Yeah.
Psychologically, when I go deep into that, I kind of get scared by some thoughts. Like, okay, I can't go, like I can't think more about it. So it's kind of going there. Like I become like obsessed with those things. Like, how is this happening? Okay, let's see, let's search about it, and it goes to a certain extent. So I can't stop that. So I like to write also like stories about horror, but I kind of go in such a depth, like not in such a depth. Not, everyone goes into that state of mind, like when they think about it deeply and all. But that kind of also gives me sleepless nights. I don't know, like if the ideas are good or bad, I don't know, but I kind of go into that state when I feel like, okay, no. So I really can't. I'm not really a good audience for horror.
Do you think you'd prefer to make horror?
I would love to make horror, like a good,
Yeah.
groundbreaking.
Have you
But
got
I
any?
can't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I will make it and then okay, I will not even watch it also.
Yeah. Well, you've got to, if you were making a horror, you'd have to watch it like 50 times just to edit it right,
No, at that time what's the mechanics behind. Also fear element also works. I will not lie. Like a fear element, because from childhood only we are taught about that. Like darkness means fear, light means the body. So from childhood, if you are taught like that, if you're brought up like that, it kind of affects you. It kind of goes deep into you. So socially also, like it's a matter of thought. Like we can think about it. Why this fear? Like we don't really enjoy as much as horror. Like the fear is kind of the enjoy element. Like I am getting scared, and that is the enjoyment. So that's kind of. But I watch it. Like if it has to be really good. Like if it's horror, like not the cliche, like the jump scares and all. Like I really liked Conjuring. Conjuring was really great, but recently after that parts I saw Nun. I really didn't like it.
That was poorly executed, that film.
Yeah.
It was kind of an inferior, you would call it a prequel. It's an inferior part of that universe, I found.
And even like images, like horror movies, like I saw the first horror movie, if I can go back, I saw was Evil Dead. I saw that. I was very young. I didn't even know the name of it. I just saw a scene. I don't know how much I can remember, but all the body parts were separated and they were all in a separate rhythm dancing, and all. And that image got really stuck in my head, you know. And I so yeah, that's my relation with horror. It's not a very good relation, but I like delving into it. The stories also. So yeah, it's
So
complicated.
if
I
you were
don't know
to
how much.
if you were to make a horror, what kind of horror film would you make?
Definitely, it has to be more of in the psychological space, like not of the. It has to be like not of the supernatural, but like the natural things can also horrify you. You know, like
Absolutely.
my presence can also horrify you. So that's also a horrific element. You know, like horror, we kind of associate with the supernatural. So that's kind of a conventional trope. But what about the natural? The natural can also horrify us. If you think about the COVID situation also, after 10 to 20 days, if everything gets normal, when there is a horrific situation. So why you use the term horrific, right? So in what context are you using? So that's the kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's going to be some this situation we've all been in, everyone worldwide's been in. It's going to inform creativity in a very. It's gonna be really interesting to see what comes out of this creatively for horror and for films generally. How filmmakers approach the subject as well. Um, so yeah, it's going to be, because the best way to approach what's going on now is to see the positive things that are going to come out of it. You've made 2 short films. I've continued this festival for a second year. It's like you've got to see the positive things. Like I'm trying to build a small community of filmmakers that have a place to showcase their films, and that's what we're doing on the 26th of June. Is showcasing all the films, kind of back to back, and we're gonna have a little cards with people's names on before after every film or before every film. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun process, and I've really enjoyed your 2 short films. I thought they were really well made, and there was something which is the one that is it Still I Dream with the photographs.
Yeah, yeah, still both of them. Still, I dream also with photographs of the cats and dogs and lizards and all. And you was kind of more in the abstract space.
It was almost that film Still I Dream it felt very calming in many ways as well, with the use of sound and music. It felt as though I was going on a tour through a street as well. So yeah, it was really really great to watch. And I'll tell you a little secret. The Michael Chan and Jessica Chan from Talking with Our Mouths Full podcast, they're judging the experimental film category. So yeah, they're seeing all the experimental films and they're kind of picking their favorites. So yeah, that's going to be announced who's won that award, the Dali Award for experimental filmmaking, because Dali was an absolute genius, so that's the reason I kind of designed the laurel and picked that name for the award. I thought it was more than suitable for it. So yeah, it's thank you so much for being on the podcast as well. And it's how's your family coping at the moment with and your friends? How are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, so my family members also had COVID, like my mother and my father. My father had COVID in 2020 last year. My mother had it this year. So, but all were mild cases. My father is vaccinated in the first dose is done,
Excellent.
but we are yet to be vaccinated. There is a kind of vaccine crisis going on in the country. So yeah, let's see how things turn out. But
Yeah.
for now, it's all good.
So is it are you going to have to wait till the end of the year to get vaccinated?
Probably, yes. I guess like 3 months, yeah, like properly so that everyone gets that vaccinated
First
and all.
dose, yeah. Yeah, I had mine, and the interesting thing, when I had my second dose of the vaccine, it felt like I was a week into having COVID. It was a really weird reaction I had. I felt like my body felt the first week into having it. It was really weird. Um, I think it was possibly a negative placebo where I felt those effects because that's my mind wanted to go there, So yeah, and I kind of, there's a lot of people turning the vaccine down because they don't believe it's real. It's absolutely
The awareness
crazy.
is very much important. Like I believe at this point, like people are not really, they are very skeptical, like whether to get vaccinated or not. That should not be the case actually in reality.
Absolutely,
It's the
because
utmost.
don't just do it for yourself, do it for other people because you're less likely to transfer it if you do get it once you've had the vaccine. So you've got to be, think about other people. That's the way to think. Don't necessarily think about just yourself. Think about other people first, really, and that's the best benefit from having the vaccine. So, have you seen any of the other films? Have you kind of clicked on anyone's link? Have seen any of those films yet?
Yeah, I saw like you were releasing the selections through Instagram feed, so I was seeing bits of it, and it's a really great curation, and I really like the films that are included.
Yeah, we're
So
doing.
I'm really looking forward to the premiere.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be the difficult thing with showing everyone's films on Saturday the 26th is it's not the editing, because that's what I've done for 20 years. I'm an editor by trade. Is putting them in an order which makes sense. That's the real tricky thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's true.
So I've got a question for you actually. When I put the edit together of all the films, and we have on YouTube on the Saturday, would you prefer a breakdown on inside the description of when films pop up and the names of films? Do you think?
Yeah, sorry. What did you say at the end?
So when you see chapters in a YouTube video,
Yeah.
do you think that'll be better to be able to see when all the films are coming up? Or do you think it's better to
I don't have much experience with the YouTube space, but what you're saying about the chapters, like it sounds pretty much organized. So I think that will be great. But now that's up to you, like how you plan it.
Yeah, I'll have to see how much time I have.
Yeah, that's the factor.
That's the thing. Yeah. Are you kind of looking to make any short films or experimental films in the near future?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Like there are many ideas that I'm thinking about, and recently I'm working on I used to study in a residential hostel during my undergraduate days. So there are many photographs and some audios of my friends, videos of my friends. So I'm trying to weave them into a like documentary style, like a different kind of thing. Like what were my experiences in the hostel life? So I'm trying to work on that.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that's ongoing, and yeah, so that's the work that I'm doing currently right now. It's in process. Hopefully, it will end by some months, like 2 to 3 months. And other than that, others are in the initially ideating stage, uh, where you kind of daydream and you kind of think, okay, this will be done, and then comes the difficult processes later. But yeah, recently I kind of when many people kind of do that, when they get an idea, they kind of write it down, and so that they don't forget it. But I kind of do it like I take out my phone and I kind of record some videos, okay, and I try to kind of knit the story so that it's a good practice also because instantly I'm kind of making something. So to store the core idea through visuals. That okay, this is my idea. Now later I will work upon it and I will develop it later. So I'm trying to do that. It's a more fun exercise. So I kind of indulge in that.
That sounds great. That sounds really kind of positive way to put your creative energies to do that. What kind of thing are you watching at the moment, movies wise?
Nothing particular. Like I was watching some films and web series from our country and all. And recently, I watched Best of Youth. This movie. I suggest everyone to watch it. It's in 2 parts. Like it's kind of near about 6 hour long movie. Best of it, but
Wow.
it's really great. It's really great. Like
Did you watch that in one sitting?
yeah, I thought that I won't be able to watch it in one sitting, but I did so. Like yeah, I it kind of went like 2 a.m. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
nice, really nice, and it's beautiful. Like I kind of like to tell our audience also, best of you. There is not much talk about it. You know, like I don't know. Like when I was searching also in like articles and also like people have written about it, but not in that level. But I really that's really close to me. Like one of my friends introduced me to that movie. Like she was like, "You have to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it." I was like, "No, it's been so long. Come on, it's a kind of dedication." And then no, you have to watch it. And finally, I said, "Okay," and it was experience.
Oh wow. Because
That's
when you watch any film over 3 hours, you have to almost set your whole day around that experience, because you can't just put, a 6 hour film on at midnight. You have
now
to.
not even 3 hours. The patience level has gone so much down. And
Absolutely,
that's
yeah.
kind of interesting. Like that's why films are becoming more shorter. I think in the future, like short films will be a big like it's now a big thing only, but later also it will be like a great because the attention span, the Insta reels you see, the reels on Insta, the reels on Facebook, and it's like what can you do in a minute? Like
Yeah,
amaze us in a minute. All that instant. It
absolutely.
has become like fast food. Like give us
That's
envy.
so
So
true.
the patience level is going away. Just to
Yeah,
sit and like
that's why
enjoy
you
the
see that's why you see 7 seconds of a whole movie at the beginning of a trailer, and then the trailer starts.
yeah,
For
yeah,
big
yeah.
movies, that's what they do now. That's the trend. And it makes complete sense. And with mobile phones and tablets and computers and laptops and all sorts, people are easily distracted, and like you say, the attention span is
like like
awful.
uh, like we are not enjoying cinema. Like I feel so. Like as a community. Like earlier days also like you kind of sit, you kind of give your time to it, and then the film also gives its time to you. The film speaks back to you. But today that kind of relation, like I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's the thing with, like, you're absolutely right. That's the time where I love going to the cinema. It's my number one thing. It's my kind of escape. And there's no other time where I don't look at my phone, unless it's something absolutely amazing I've never seen before. When I go to the cinema, I never look at my phone. I only look at my phone to turn it off. And then, if you've paid whatever amount of money to go and see a film, that's it. That's got my full attention. That's why the experience is so much better. So I think maybe now the trend might be, if people start to go back to the cinema worldwide and the audiences get bigger, if people intentionally switch off their phones and switch off and properly engage with the cinema might get bigger than ever. So it's really, I totally agree with you in terms of the length of the films. People's attention spans, they wane after, say, an hour and a half. But yeah, people's love for cinema might go, even bigger now,
Even
because
if
I
you
know.
think about okay, sorry to cut you. Okay,
No,
I
go
thought
ahead.
yeah. So like Lav Diaz's movies,
Yeah,
like they're like really like big length movies and like beautiful movies and immersive experience kind of thing. But I don't know how much like you will watch it. Like the attention span you're talking about, there's a classics, they're really great
yeah,
movies.
yeah,
So that's the thing. Like the slow cinema kind of thing is right now. It's all like
yeah.
give it to me right now. Like all that instant thing. Even in halls, also in cinema halls, when you go, I guess people are on their WhatsApp. I say it's a bit boring, and they're not
Yeah.
willing to give time.
Yeah, that's it. And that's for me, it's the closest thing I have to a religion in many ways, because of, it's like going to temple or going to church. I go to the cinema kind of thing. And what are the, because religions are mainly about stories from the past, stories that inform, stories that inspire, and should make you a better person. And that's how I see cinema. and I can't wait to go back to the cinema for the first time. I've not been back in, since March last year. So I can't wait. I'm probably going to go and see Godzilla versus Kong. I think that's my first one I'll go and see. Something ridiculous,
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to that. So do you have a cinema you go to at home?
Yeah, I recently, not recently, like it was 2, 3 months ago, like the halls opened for a brief moment,
Yeah.
and I thought that, okay, I have to watch a movie right now. Let's go and watch. Otherwise, I don't know later if something again, the second wave, and it happened, like again, everything is shut down. So I watched a movie, like it's Sandeep and Pinky Farah that released. Like that was the current release in our country. And so I kind of went and watched it. Like my thing was that I need to go to the cinemas and I need to sit there and I need to watch it on the big screen. And I needed to do that.
Absolutely.
So I did that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ayan. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you on the Filmmakers podcast. I'm not quite sure. I think officially you're the last guest this year. So you're the 15th of 15. That's what we planned, because we kind of recorded, I think it was 37 episodes last year, and it was a little bit too much because we wanted to release the episodes of the podcast within the time frame of the festival, you see. So that's the reason we've only done 15 this year. We've had requests from so many people, but I responded to each person fairly and made sure that everyone that said yes, I'd love to be on it, it could be on it. So there's an outside chance I might do one or two more, but they might be after the festival ends. So yeah, Ayan, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast, and I hope you have a great day. I will keep in touch, via email. If you've got any questions, DMs on Instagram are great for me because I can respond very quickly.
Same here.
But yeah, thanks for being so patient. Because I was running late.
No issues. Thank you.
I was running late and I had to walk my dog as soon as I got home. So
no issues.
Yeah, well,
thanks for having me.
Absolutely, anytime, and stay safe and stay creative as well. So, Ayan, thank you very much. And one little last request: if you can send me a photograph of yourself, for the posters and the things we put out. If you send me that,
I can send it to you.
Yeah, if you can send it as soon as possible, that'd be great, because then I can.
So shall I mail you or via Insta?
Either's fine. Because I've got Instagram on the desktop computer here, so I could download the picture straight to my editing machine. So
I will be sending after the interview.
That'd be great. Perfect. Well, thank you very much, and I'll keep in touch. Any questions, just send me a message at any time. See you soon, my friend.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.